So hello everyone. Today in this Saturday, a painting, yes, by Rene Magritte. So he was born in Belgium, and he, as a painter, he started as with realistic paintings. Then he moved to Impressionism. But then he ended up quite tough in Surrealism. Yeah, and then later I'll tell you a bit the story about this painting. But let's go through the technical part of colors. Yeah, that actually today maybe not so complicated. So for the sky, for this orangey, as I also like to call it, a bit peachy. So either you have some paint, maybe orange that you can mix with white, or I always like this mix pink with yellow. Yes, it works very nicely. You can add sometimes a bit more yellow, or you add a bit more pink, and then you add some white, and then you have also nice, very nice this peachy color. Yeah, so this set is for the background. Then the lion, also pretty much not complicated. I have ochre and I have sienna, and then of course black. Yeah, we have then black also for the guy. So what else? Yeah, then we have this interesting street lamp, some green, can be also mixed, yeah, a bit with white, maybe a bit more pale. And I was also experimenting in this pre-drawing with some silver that I put here a bit on this part. Yeah, so color-wise should not be complicated today. What is actually very interesting and very good to practice today is exactly the perspective. Yeah, I think it was a while we haven't done anything with the rules of perspective, so it would be nice. So I put the paints away. So of course you go with a pencil, and I go with the marker because this allows you to see on the screen. Yeah, if I go with pencil, it will not be visible for you. So if everyone ready, let's start with the sketch. We can analyze also, let's say, of course, it would be logical to start with this. I forget the word. It's not a fence, but like this, maybe someone can help. So we can, for example, I can also measure. It's kind of starting more or less halfway of the page, a bit lower. So we can give a bit more space for the sky. But so you can, let's say, check, okay, middle of my page, a bit lower, and here I can put a little tick. So this will go for the start of the fence. And then we can check the line. So if I put now here my pencil, it's kind of horizontal. Yeah, I can, so what the rules of perspective say, that the lines are meeting in one point. So this line and this line down here, they will meet somewhere there more far away in one point. So what's important, that this line, it can go horizontally, and then it means that my eyes are actually at the level of this line. Yeah, let's say if my eyes, let's say are a bit maybe in the middle, then it goes a bit lower. Yeah, so this one you draw either horizontally or slightly going down, yeah, towards the left side. And then we can spot, let's say we can mark the second point of our fence. and then we go up. So this line, you can see the angle is going much more up. Yes, and again, if you know the rule of perspective, this is the way it works. Yeah, if my level of my eyes are closer, then the lines are more horizontal, and all the lines that are far away, then the angle becomes more stiff. Yeah, so and let's read the drawing. So we have these two parts, and then I suggest we go with the man and with the lion, and then we can go with the details. So, and then again, let's say we can go always abstract and we check just the points. So let's say I take legs as the point, and then I evaluate. Okay, they're pretty much touching this baseline, and yeah, then I check how far away is it. For example, I can mark, okay, maybe here the shoulder is ending. So I can play a bit around my figure, like getting the points that I already can know. Yeah, and I can check, for example, vertically, how far away my legs are from the shoulders, yeah, from this arm. So not that I put now my legs here under the arm. No, I have it here. So actually the toes, let's say, are ending somewhere where already the body is starting. And so we remember this trick. We can check every point of our drawing. We can check where it is horizontally and vertically. Yes. So it was like that he had his like shoes, and then it was a bit also shadow, like going a bit towards the fence. Yeah. And then there is a bit like trousers, a bit double. And I'm a bit jumping, let's say, yes. So always also important not to get into details too early. So first, of course, we get the big shapes. And once we are sure they're on the correct position of the page, yeah, then yeah, so feel free to use eraser, correct. And yeah, for example, I can also check, for example, now I have the feeling this my guy is a bit maybe big. You remember I can also measure, let's say I can take the whole size of the man, and then I can see how much it fits to the rest of paper. So 2 times more, it should be fitting in 1, 2, exactly. Yeah, so the sketch I did here is a bit bigger. The kind maybe could be a bit smaller. And yeah, then we also put attention. The first wing is a bit bigger, like a bit higher. It's closer to us. Yeah, then we also see where the head is coming out. It's coming kind of in the middle of this first wing. Yeah, and then we check where the face is ending. Yeah, so especially it's always like the neck, the same like ears. We always check vertically and horizontally where they are, because yeah, let's say with your ears, you can also check yourself. If you put your head down, yeah, your ears, they're like kind of up. They finish, let's say, on the level of the forehead. And if, let's say, I'm looking up, and then the end of my ears, they're like on the level of my nose. Yeah, so this is why this thing is just always like either using your pencil or just with your eyes, check those things. And the line, yeah, very surrealistically. Here is our line, yeah. Then again, let's look at more like abstract, just where it finishes, where its tail leaves, his feet, where the head is ending. So head is ending somewhere middle of our fence, this barrier. So I can also kind of just mark myself a line. And yeah, then maybe also kind of lightly jumping with my pencil, try to mark the shape of his head, the fur. Yeah. And then again, I'm checking the body. Here I see, okay, here is a bit space. So I see pavement through this fence. So the body is kind of coming here. Yeah? But again, it's also like if we try, let's say, to copy. Yeah. I mean, of course, you can also have your free will and move a bit. It doesn't have to be so precise. But what I'm telling you is just like technique that you can use also in general. Yeah, you're sitting outside painting, and this is like the base measuring techniques that are always useful to check each point. Yeah, and here I also check, okay, how far away is the tail from the feet? So this is also a little good tip for me to, yeah, and then I can check, okay, where the tail is ending. The tail is ending somewhere before all this fur thing. And yeah, and then of course, when we're talking about painting body and face, then of course all these being more precise with proportions is important. Yeah, of course, if we paint flowers, then how it can be more free, we don't have to. But in this case, yeah, once you get wrong the proportions, then there is a feeling like, okay, people will understand it's a lion, but yeah, we'll have maybe different feeling. So here, for example, again, I can check. So his frontal feet, where they're actually ending a bit lower than the end of the body and the tail. Yeah, so this can also be a good tip for me. Tick, tick, and here. So actually, even now, I already like projected the feet, but now it has to go a bit more further. And so the more you draw, the more kind of precise you get, you know, from the first strokes. But this is normal and important. Yeah, just you can check yourself always. Okay, where this point is leaving, and so yeah. And as usually I say, like the dark areas, one can go a bit straight away with the pencil. You make them a bit darker. It helps. Let's say like here with the face. So I started sketching the face. So maybe I find the line of this side, and then just lightly I can kind of go dark on the side, and then of course it helps me go further. So let's also kind of take your time to play with the face, find the correct, yeah, and then of course like measuring, I can always use it and to check myself. So I can measure the width of the face and compare, for example, with the vertical with the high. So it's kind of almost like 1 to 2 in proportions. So one size of width of the face fits 2 times up, more or less till here. Yeah. And here also lots of intuition coming in. It's kind of when you start feeling, yeah, some corner, something wrong. You might be not sure yet what's wrong, but if you get this feeling, you should always then start like checking and not to be lazy, correct And then again, I can check the nose, where the nose is living, a bit more higher than the end of the body, or compare where the nose is against of general face. So like there are many ways you can check your point if it's on its place. And then of course, remember the left side of the face of lion, we see less. Yeah, so he is turned, we see more the right side. Yeah, so this is also should be kind of, yeah, even if it's like maybe 1 or 2 millimeters, but still it's important. In the same, the eye, we paint the eye more, it's a bit smaller, and yeah. In painting faces, portraits, like millimeters really matter. And yeah, if you're going for that the portrait should be similar. Yeah, let's say here with the line, maybe not so, because okay, it's still going to be looking as a lion, and doesn't have to be maybe be that particular one. So over here now I see, okay, maybe my eyes are a bit too up. Yes, I put them a bit maybe lower. I can check the how much I have from eyes till the nose, till the mouth. Yeah, so yeah, so take your time for lion, because he's kind of more, more detailed than the rest. And then of course all the light and shadow stories, but we go in details more once we are with paints. And lion. And so the lamp, for example, I can measure it maybe also just with the eyes. Okay, more or less, it's kind of right on the border with the page, and how much it's not going till up. But here also, again, I can see these lines of, so there is also this perspective rule. So this line is going actually more stiff, more up, because I see less. This side of the lamp, I see a bit more. Yeah, so can go maybe even a bit horizontally, but still a bit down. Yeah, so here also did with the paints maybe a bit wrong. Then the head. If someone doesn't know perspective and you want me kind of to separately recap, yeah, just let me know. We can do it. No. And then this barrier, yeah. So again, you see all the lines are slowly going there, and each line has its own direction a bit, so its own angle. Yeah, so it's changing. So this is also I do. The easiest way is always kind of, I check, let's say, the size at the start, because here we have a bigger part and here smaller. And of course, we know that in life, these parts are the same size, yeah? But it's exactly the perspective that makes this look smaller. Yeah, so here at the start, at this right side of the border of the page, I can just mark myself, like say, okay, this is the part for this upper. This is also here, this down part. And here in the middle will be these circular openings, and then they have three parts. Yeah, so kind of just started. And actually I can do the same at the end. So then I have these two big parts at the top and the bottom. And then maybe it's also then easier for me to connect them. So here we also have this part, and this then those three lines. Something like this. And then with those openings, then you can also see, then of course, the one that is closer to us is bigger and also darker. So from the coloring paints point of view, then they also should get more pale. Yeah, this is also kind of what you use to show the perspective. So not only the size, but also the intensity of color. And then we see that, yeah, this one is more big, more fat, the opening. Here, this one under the guy. Yeah. And the last one is like really, really small. Yeah, we can see like in line, they're fitting like 3 of them. Yeah. But of course, also if you miss, like, I don't know how much here. Okay, here are 10. If you will have them 9 or it's not really that important, but like, let's say if you have 9 or 8 of them, still the important is that the ones that are closer to you are bigger, and also the space in between them is bigger. And the more far away I see, this space is getting also smaller. And there are then 2 more lines that help us with this perspective thing. So this is also these diagonals of the pavement. Yeah, and we know the diagonals in art are very powerful element that artists are using. You can often notice, yeah, some hand is kind of painted the way that it's kind of pointing somewhere, or maybe some line of there's the background, some painting is hanging there, and then it's horizontal line. Yeah, then it's always kind of matching important parts. Let's say here the line is going through the feet of lion, and here also that we go. Yeah, so these 2 I find like also they're not by accident, but they help the composition. So, okay, sorry, some message in the chat. Okay, yes, let's recap the perspective. So, very good, yeah, feel free to take time and yeah, finish your sketch, and then I will just talk a bit on the background with perspective. Yeah, so I will take so perspective. Let's. So in perspective, what you have, they often say this line of the horizon. Yeah, and what it actually is, it is the line of our eyes. Yeah, so this is my eye, and this is where I see. Yeah, so this line can be up, can be down. So let's say I'm standing on the beach, and you can check yourself later when you go. If I sit down, yeah, like on my knees or something, I'm lower, then the line of the sea, yeah, between the sky and the sea, it goes up. If I find some, bench or something, and I climb it, then the sky becomes more and the line of the horizon becomes lower. Yeah, so it's just because I'm changing the line. So this horizontal line is my level of my eyes. Yeah, so this, like, once you remember it, it all becomes more clear. And the main rule of perspective is that all points are coming, so they're meeting in this line. And which lines are meeting there? Always the parallel lines. So let's say I have the let's say a cube. Yeah, let's say a cube, something, and then so these lines will be meeting, like, okay, let me draw now. So here maybe it's more. So like these are parallel and they will be meeting here somewhere on my point. Yeah, so actually it should be stiffer. And then also these ones will be coming here to meet on the points. Actually the point is here. Yeah? And then the same story with those. Then this maybe will be go here, and then actually I have to draw. Yeah, so this is the, like, those parallel lines are meeting at the point. The vertical lines, what happens? They usually, we draw them straight, and only when it comes to the topic of skyscrapers or the pine trees, then there is also the third meeting point up. It's like if we're standing very near of the skyscraper, we can see it's kind of going more smaller to the top. So only for like really tall objects, but generally straight lines, they stay just straight. So this is, so there are 2 point, 1 point perspective, 2 point perspective, and 3 point. So 3 point, it's now I mentioned these skyscrapers. Yeah. So this is like a bit rarely used. You can exactly just when it's pine trees or something. And 2 point, it's when you see the both sides. So here I see my cube from 2 sides, and then they are coming to meet the points on one. But if I see only one side, then yeah, so let's say my cube here, I tried to draw it firstly straight. Yeah, so then it will be only one side meeting. It's meeting somewhere, but here I draw the, but these ones will stay straight. Also the classical example of 1 point perspective are is the railway. Yeah, so this is when you stand in the middle of the railways, they will all be meeting in 1 point. Yeah, and we have this. And I'm standing here and looking there, and so this is the level of my eyes. They're far away. And yeah, so 1 point perspective for railways, 1 point perspective if, let's say, my house, I'm standing in front of it. But if in my house I'm seeing the corner and I see both sides, then it will have 2 point perspective, and like each parallel lines, they'll be meeting there. Yeah, and then this is the classical. So this is my eyes, and if I'm looking from up, then I will see the top, the roof. So let's say my level of eyes is here, and my house is here that I see. Then the upper line will go up. From here will also go up, and these lines will go up, and here, yeah, and here I will start, and I will see the roof. And here, so in the end, I ended up doing the perspective, yeah, and here I see the bottom, yeah, because my level of eyes are under the object, and here are in the middle. So and then we also see about the steepness. Yeah, so once those lines who are closer to my level of eyes, this angle is more closer to horizontal. And the more far away it is, here you can see up, it's like very stiff, yeah, going more to almost here 45 degrees or something. Yeah, so this is why, let's say, looking here at this picture, was my conclusion. Okay, this line goes more steep. It means my level of the eyes is somewhere here. And then I need to check. If this line goes up, yeah, it means my level of eyes is higher. But if I see this line is going down, so they're meeting there, and it means my level of eyes is somewhere here in the space of the fence. Yeah, because if it would be up, then both lines will be going up like here. But here, upper line goes down and lower line goes, so this goes down, this goes up. Yeah, so more or less, I mean, like once you practice, then you get more clear or something. But let's say this is the basic perspective thing. Yeah, I'm thinking if I remember something interesting about perspective, I'll mention. But hopefully you hopefully you don't get more confused after this explanation. So I suggest my experienced painters are ready with a sketch. Yeah, thumbs up. Yeah, of course, Darren ready, Karen ready. How about you, Jamie? Yeah,
as ready as I'm gonna be. Yeah.
Good. Today's I find maybe it's also good for the starters. It's not those complete. Sometimes we take really more complicated stuff. This is yeah. Then let's go start with the paints. Then I will go again mixing pink and yellow, so that I can also kind of bit play how orangey I want my sky. Here, maybe I think I also got it a bit too orange. Yeah, maybe it can be a bit more pale. So of course I put some white. Oops, my tube is ending. That's white. And I will put, wait, I probably need more. Some orange. And it also depends. We can go on putting paints like in while we are working. Yeah, so I don't know. Some people like to put all at the same time. It depends. I work also both ways. And of course, feel free to take bigger brush. Yeah, we have big area to cover, so I make my brush a bit wet. Yeah, so then it's enough to mix, and then I mix slowly pink and yellow. Yeah, see which color I'm getting, and of course I add a bit more white inside, and I'm having it already. Yeah, so without white it looks like really orangey. With white, then it gets this more pale peachy color. Yeah, and then no big deal, you just go all over. So for example, where I did my lamp, this street lamp, yeah, of course it's good to go and just like, yeah, maybe where the base you can leave. In the end I covered it all. But I mean, you can go a bit around, but it's not maybe that necessary. When we're doing, like, say, when I want the straight line, like here, so I have the fence, then it's also advisable, then you move your brush with a side parallel, then I get the straight line. Yeah? Instead going like this with the ends of the brushes and trying to do the straight line like this, I mean, it can work also, but just easier when I do my line with the side of the brush. Yeah? And yeah, and then of course bigger area, so go mixing more paints. You can also do, let's say, either you just cover with more or less similar color, and then later maybe you go and decide, okay, maybe the middle is a bit darker. Yeah, but it can be also straight away that in the middle, maybe I put a bit more darker, and the sides are a bit more pale. Yeah. And here, let's say I'm not using much water, because what happens, so if I use more water, then it means then just maybe either I need to go the second layer, so let it dry, and then can, that is also not a problem, one can do it. Yeah, then actually maybe like if I put more watery layer, it might actually look a bit more transparent, because then I will have my paper showing through. And yeah, it can also actually be even nicer. Yeah. But the thing is, like, don't try, let's say, if you're moving your brush and in some moment it can start be like this, that the brush is taking out your paint. So the suggestion is always like, just don't try to fight it. And the golden rule is just let it dry. And acrylics are drying fast. So once it's dry, it will be so easy with the second layer, you know, to cover if you want it like very smooth and without emptinesses in between. Yeah, and then you get your, so yeah, it went quickly. The payment, I painted more in the end, and I think I was doing it more like with already some leftovers on the palette. I see probably some more like sienna, yeah, or with some brownish and the brown, maybe this is what I'm not sure. Okay, let's just go and see. So what should we do next? I suggest we go for the lion. Yeah, since these guys also maybe will require a bit more effort from us. So what I'm putting, I have my raw sienna. So this will be for a bit darker parts of lion. And I have ochre. And then a bit lighter, then I can have also ochre mixed a bit with white for these face parts. Then I can put also black somewhere in the corner where it doesn't bother. And so if this fence was a good exercise for perspective, then line, of course, is once again good exercise for this all lights and shadows story. And the same, it's like never ending is the base of, yeah, how we show 3D objects on 2D paper. Yeah? So just to remember, like shades, yeah, like light and shades means volume. Yeah? Once I show them, once I play with them, I can get this result. I suggest like, so usually I like to start with light parts. So I will mix my ochre, yeah, the yellowish part, the lighter with a bit also white. Yeah, and then I can go and put maybe some those parts in the face. Yeah, and it's also always good to start with the light, because I don't really have to worry that I put a bit too much. First, it doesn't really cover my pencil, so I can still see where I have planned my eyes to be and so on. And then of course it's easy covered with darker paint. Yeah, so then I'm kind of putting it more than it will be in the end. So here also very nice light part on this part of the feet. Yeah, this upper leg. Yeah, and this is one of those stories, light and shadow. As you see, here is light, and since the shape of this leg is a bit like round curvish, we see it's slowly changing its darkness. Yeah, then to it's okay, like straight away I just take a bit pure sienna and can, yeah, and there this is also the technique a bit of blending. Yeah, so if my object is, let's say, curvish, like let's say like apple, yeah, is the classical example, then I remember that this transition should go smoothly. Yeah, it's not that I do, so it's not like this square. Yeah, when we have the border, the light goes, it ends here, the other part goes like the other direction, but once it's curvy. So it's also in general like it is just also like a real quick recap for this light and shadow theory. So it's actually like three geometry objects that we use to, and then you can paint or draw any object with those. So it's the circle that goes into sphere, then it is the cube that, like if I want to, all the tables, everything, all the houses, and then it's also all, and the cylinder, and then how I put the shadows in here. So let's say the light is coming from here. So here is my cube. So how I turn circle into sphere, I start showing the light and shadow. So somewhere here we'll have this lightest spot, and the shadow will go this curvy. Yeah, and then I have, yeah, so now here with marker maybe a bit more complicated, but yeah, so the lightest spot, then it all becomes a bit more, and then it's darker, and then we have also this reflection. Yeah, and then we have also the falling shadow. Yeah, with the cube is different. Then this part is like completely dark, because here we have this border, and let's say the upper part can be the lightest, and here I can have a bit more. Yeah, and then the shadow is also a bit different. Then, yeah, the shadow goes as the shape goes. And with the cylinder, so it's like if you paint some vases or also like curtains, and then the shadow goes here also vertically. Yeah, and then it has like in sphere, it's like the circle part of this lightest point, but here it's like the vertical line that is the lightest. Then again it comes like middle shadow, then the darkest shadow, then there's a bit lighter reflection, then it goes also. And so once you know this story, then you can apply. So in my face of lion, let's say the nose can consist a bit of sphere, and the upper part a bit of cylinder, and the cheeks, there I can also apply this theory of sphere, yeah, and so on and so on. So yeah, you can also Google, it's like the most classical, you find all this story, and also the falling shadow. Yeah, don't forget about it. Here in line we can also see it, and believe me, let's say if you paint a lion, but you will not paint here a bit darker at the bottom, it will look, yeah, already like something wrong. Yeah, because the falling shadow is always there, and our brains get used to see it. So when it's missing on the painting, then the brains say something wrong, something missing. Good. Yeah, again, if I'm rushing or something, everyone feel free to stop, ask. Yeah, what we, sometimes then I feel like I talk too much. Lion, light areas in lion, also his frontal feet. So I just can also mark with my light there. And again, you see his arm, the same story. Upper part, we have this light, and then going more down, it becomes a bit darker. Yeah, and then a bit lower. Yeah, and once I do it, then straight away it has the shape. So let's say if you say, okay, maybe the lightest areas more or less I have marked. Yeah, then I can just move, and then I say I take my ochre without white and play around with it. So maybe some areas on the face as well. Yeah, already some hair. And again, yeah, so we see this side is a bit lighter, that side a bit more shadow. So this side I can use a bit more. And here I like to use a bit dry brush. So not so much water, especially where the hairs. Then we know we get this effect of, and dry brush gives those strokes. And then it's very good to show hair and I can go playing a bit with both. So I have here my sienna and ochre, one a bit lighter, one a bit darker. And you will notice, for example, now I'm working only with these colors. So before I put black, it will be like, yeah, you know, something still not, you know, because we really need those shadows. Yeah, the shadows are like, make friends with shadows. They will help you on the way. So here is also somebody. The leg and tail is in the light. Yeah, so you see, when I'm putting the light colors, I'm not being very restricted in how much I put. I go just a bit. Also more, it actually also helps to save those areas because it's easy to make it dark. Yeah, and even if in acrylics, yeah, we can paint on top, but you also know that, let's say, by accident, I have covered some area dark brown and oops, it needed to be light. Of course, then I can go put white paint on top, wait till it's dry, and then I put, yeah, let's say light yellow, but it already won't be that transparent. Yeah, so still I try to save, to take care of those light areas. So putting them a bit bigger is actually helps me because then I will start working with a bit darker, and then it's easy for me to lose them. I'm looking, maybe some brown. Be good. No. Or I think I did all just with the black. Okay, I'll go just try just with the black. It will be really needed. Yeah, because then I think I mixed black with sienna and it got me this bit brownish. Yeah, because then I have black, but I have also somewhere not so black. So as the next step, let's say we can jump to the black and then we do the rest with this brown that is in between. And then, so I have my small brush because now I'm planning to go for the nose, for the eyes. and maybe some dark lines. Yeah, the hair, you see there is somewhere like more thin lines. For example, when I do these small details, the way I touch the paper is not like drawing a line, but it's more like just putting vertically points. And then it helps me to have control on the shape I want to make. Because I see, okay, the nose is small. Yeah. So if I start moving my brush, I will easily like get over. But if I'm just kind of pointing, then it's easier to get this in the size I need. And again, also not too watery, because then it starts floating. And then the lines for the mouth. And some touch-ups for the eyes. And so what was the story actually? Who the guy, the lion? So I had some notes. So this painting by Rene Magritte, it was painted in 1940, and it's connected with the Second World War, when he had to leave his home in Belgium, and I think he went to France. Yeah, so this is, the name is the Homesickness. But it also was connected a bit with his troubles. So his marriage was going a bit wrong. He, I think, was divorcing his wife. So in the end, actually, I think later maybe with the art, those who study art and something, like maybe so Magritte himself didn't realize it from the start that, so he painted line and it represented his wife. So it's somehow, yeah, we see lion, it's kind of the king of jungle or something, but here he's like, he doesn't care. He's very peaceful. He's just looking the other way and he's not interested. So this is this symbolic representation of what was going on in his life. With symbolism, it is this thing that, like, you as a viewer, you don't really like need to know or guess what the artist was telling there. I mean, if you're interested, then you kind of study the story of the artist, of the moment of his life when he was painting, and what because sometimes artists, they paint and maybe they wanted only just one person to understand it. Yeah, maybe like we know this famous Mexican painter Frida Kahlo, and her paintings, she addressed them like to her partner or husband, like this Diego. So, and because he was going like lots of being very unfaithful, and this was her reaction, and she was showing it in her paintings, and it was meant, and he understood, like he was the guy who, he was in the context, and he was the one who so like us now, we go to the museum of Frida, we look, we don't know, we are not in the context, so we can just kind of can relax and enjoy. And if you like what's there, maybe it gives you yourself your own interpretation of something. So this symbolism, it's this art is in this way. So it's if you don't understand it, doesn't mean it's bad in art. It just means you're not we don't need to understand the symbols that artists is telling us that maybe are not world assumed. Like there are some symbols that everyone in the world would say, okay, this means this. But in this moment, like lion can represent lots of different arts. So here I'm going with black a bit around. I'm also diluting my black a bit with water if I need it somewhere a bit lighter. Yeah, so don't forget also black line under the feet. Someone is coming. Yeah. Someone on the door. Nice. So. Yeah, so don't be shy with this shadow under the feet. It is, yeah, then we have the tail. And then again, I check where this tail is living, horizontally, vertically, more or less. And under the tail as well. A little bit what I'll tell you also the trick about, so here, for example, I painted nose black. And when we have these things, especially like the nose, yeah, I have my face is light, and then I see this dark point of nose, and it looks a bit like glued on top. It looks separate. So what I need to integrate it in the face, and it's not so hard. I just need to take some dark brown. Yeah, so here I mixed my sienna with some black. I have some dark brown. And then I go and I do a bit dark around. Yeah. And at once, yeah, well, first I also have here a bit shadow on the left side of the face. Yeah. And here around the mouth, again, I also can put a bit. So I'm already not putting black, but some brown. But at once, yeah, this black spot of nose stops being like separate dot there that you don't know where it comes from. Yeah, so. So I can control also with the amount of water, how dark is my paint there. Yeah, and so why like face, and it's usually so complicated because it has lots of these small parts. Yeah, like we have the area of eyes and nose, and there are lots of these shapes changing. So of course, like, and this is the trick. Once you get it a little bit wrong, the shadow, yeah, then it's already not the person. Because what's the basic criteria for the portraits? People look, they will not tell, nice colors or nice strokes. They will say similar, not similar, and that's it. Yeah, and yeah, to get not similar is easy. You just like you do the shade, yeah, a bit differently, because the shade there, you know, it's not just by accident. Yeah, the shade follows the shape. So if my nose is longer, my shade will be bigger. If my nose is shorter, my shade is shorter. Yeah, and if you get these proportions wrong, then well, it's already like some other person. And they will say, okay, this is not Jamie, this is maybe, yeah, some other girl. But, so this is why this portrait, because I remember when I was going to my studies of art, and the teacher was telling us that there was some lady, she came to learn how to draw, and she said, yeah, I don't really want all these cubes and to do all these chairs, you know, like this classical path. And she's like, I just want to draw flowers. Yeah. And but still, so the story is like, if you go and you learn how to do the portrait, then you know you can paint anything. Because the portrait is considered to be the most complicated, and exactly because of those like millimeters. Yeah. And then so you do the person, and you start fighting for similarity. You start moving tiny parts. So here I'm also playing a bit with strokes of my brush, trying to get a bit also the the feeling of the called fur. Then we see also the bigger shadow, also big goes here behind the arm on the body. So here, feel free to, and here before the leg. And I'm kind of playing a bit brownish, a bit blackish. And also my leg. I go a bit also darker already, especially here behind. And then I get this feeling of curvy. Also more shadow here between the tail and the part of the leg. And here we go, like, see, I just put these main shadows and you get shape. So it's, in the end, it's not that complicated, it just requires practice and like understanding the concept, so pretty much. Because also this school where I was going, it's actually like a nice method. It was like that any person who was there, you could reach like pretty good level of drawing. So this pencil drawing, and then later, of course, you develop. Okay, we have also Becky. I didn't notice we have someone else today. Hello, hello. So,
I'm really love that. It's not just one of the few days ago in the watercolor, we see the center of the line off where every idea goes. It's so cool.
Okay, I don't know. I didn't understand, like it was some noises. I couldn't follow your question. It was a question. If you can either repeat it or you can type it, or maybe you were talking just not to me. But sorry, I didn't catch it. Yeah, and I also apologize. Sometimes I started talking, telling some stories, and I forget to look on the screen. So just shout then, and interrupt me, please. And then, and also don't be scared in darkening up those shade areas. If you make it all too pale, it might not work as the. So, and it's normal coming back to some areas and darkening, because how it works. I started, let's say, first light, but then I went to some other side and I've painted there, and once it means that I need to go back and darken some areas more. So then we start playing the contrast. Okay, my line. Good. Here my body goes a bit up. So bear with the line, fight with it till you can. If you're already like too tired with line, you can also, I also always suggest like take a break sometimes and go paint some other part of painting, and then because sometimes now I try to finish line with one go, but sometimes it's also good just to jump around and go and do some easier parts of painting. And also for those like, so Karen, Darren, Mel, we've been hanging out already longer. So we also have WhatsApp chat, and we use it, of course, to communicate, share. It's nice to see how others did. but also during the process. Yeah, if like one is stuck, then one can just make a quick picture and send it. So if one, like really someone, yeah, for newcomers, Jamie or Becky, if someone is like, okay, my line is terrible, what I do next? I feel stuck. Yeah, then you can also like show on the screen, it also sometimes works. Yeah, I can see, yeah, give the tips. But if you feel, no, I'm fine, then fine. I mean, it's not a must to do. And also the story a bit of the light areas. Yeah? So it's very often I see that, like, and I suggest go and darken some areas, because very often we leave a bit too much of light and then they start kind of contradicting one each other. Yeah, so also in theory, the correct way would be you see the object and you need to define which of areas are the lightest, and they shouldn't be a lot, they should be like some few. Yeah, and then the rest can also be light, but they still will be somewhat already darker than those lightest areas. Yeah, so and then I'll also then tell the classical method of checking if I have too much light. And so Mel and Darren, they already all heard it, but of course I will repeat for the rest. So it's the halfly closing eyes. Yeah, this is also the very classical typical method. What happens? So you can also experiment. Yeah, for example, even, I don't know, looking at my line here, you start closing your eyes, keep on closing till the moment when you see the shades, they start kind of becoming one. Yeah, so then I already maybe don't see that much the fur. Yeah, so it's light, but it's already kind of joined. So this method, halfly closed eyes, helps you define where is the lightest spot and how the shadows are, because the shadows become like one. And then what you need to do, without changing your eyes position, you move your head to your drawing. Yeah, so of course it's also like I have some object in front of me. I do this exercise and then I look at my paper and it should look the same. But if I notice at my paper that some light areas, they're kind of jumping out, and it means there I need to go and just darken up. And this is a very good technique. It works and it's normal to use it several times during your paint, or like almost like all the time. Yeah, so actually it's like the people who have a worse eyes, you see, so like you need glasses. So you just take off the glasses and just by once it all becomes more blurred and those lights and shadows, they kind of combine, and then it's easier for you to spot. And so, because again, like the good painting should look all together. Yes, this is also something I continue repeating. So I can paint some detail. I can paint now the feet or the tail or something of my line very nicely detailed. But if in all together it is in the wrong tone, yeah, what tone means? Tone means light or dark. Yeah, so if it's, let's say, too light in comparison with all together, then it's not working. It's painted good, but it's jumping out from all the context. So, and generally we always go from general, we go back to details, we do some details, but we always come back to the whole painting. And that's why like it's considered, you know, you paint when you're standing, because then it's easy. You do 2 steps back and you see your painting. Yeah, when you're sitting in the chair, then you just sit back, like you can't go really, yeah, looking far away. So this is the kind of those big theories of how to get. Okay, I got tired of my line. I will leave it for a while. Share, someone talk to me how your lines are going, or maybe you're already doing the guy and the fence. I don't know. Darren is knocking the head. He's doing maybe the guy already. He will send me his the preview. I'll show you also, guys, once I get the Darren's. Good, waiting for Darren. Okay. So something in the chat. Okay, so what's up, chat? Good. So if you're interested here, I write my phone number and you feel free to message. I check my number, it's correct. So yeah, then you can message, and then if you're interested, I can add you to the group. Or I, of course, also respond directly. So let's see what Darren has. He started the guy, that's what. So let's everyone check. This is Darren's work. Let's analyze together, let's say the line. Nice, yeah, so Darren was listening me telling all these light and shadow stories for a long time. So he did very nicely, yeah. The darken up here after the arm, here the shadow under the, yeah. Maybe, for example, this left side of the face, it all looks to me too light because the whole length is in white, in one color. So I still kind of, because what it means then, it means the surface is not changing, but we know that, yeah, after the mouth, those cheeks, they come in another angle. So it's already a bit more dark, a bit more shade there, this little corner between the eye and the mouth area. Yeah, and so like just maybe some a bit sienna or a bit ochre could, but yeah. So again, if I do this exercise of halfly closed eyes, very nice. Also maybe a bit the like the leg is also a bit contradicting with the face, yeah. Yeah, and then in this case I might think, okay, what's more important maybe? So, or yeah, there's also the game of tonality. Yeah, it's very dark here. It's very dark, this shadow here, and this is too light. So it's kind of the jump is, but of course I'm already kind of a bit like Darren's line is nice. I'm just trying to find some these areas to show what I was talking about. Yeah, so I would make the like a bit more calm. Yeah, so then it's not so contrasty with the shadow, and then just add this diagonal shadow under the eye, and maybe also like the whole area of eye also just like lower down. But the mouth is nice, yeah, and generally here I also like it. And he did already the lamp, of course. I'm all talking to. Okay, I got Jamie. Yeah, so very nice. You can I will try to add you directly to the chat, so then you can also see the other works. So I will save it first, and Yeah, so I added you, Jamie. So you probably won't see now the Darrens. Yeah, so everything what's before you probably don't see, but the next one's from Karen and Mel. Yeah, then, and of course you, Jamie, also feel free to share also the working process and the finals. And good. I will not do the man and the lamp. I will continue with the fence and the pavement. Like this, I will have also my painting, of course, more finished. Something more in chat. Yes, yeah, Becky, there will be a recording. We are recording at the moment. I will send you the link to your email. Yes, so in case, I don't know if Becky is still here. Yeah, is still, good. Yeah. So yes, I also have the YouTube channel and there are also some recordings, but of course I'll send you the link so that you don't have to search for it. Nicely. Also, just to rest, I'll go for the fence and for the pavement. Yeah, we did so detailed the line, like the brains need to rest a bit. So, for example, the fence, I will choose some neutral color. Yeah, can be maybe I will add a bit this. I think I was doing some silver. I don't remember. Or in the end, I can just like already some leftovers here on my palette can work nicely to do the. Yeah, because all I need actually it's like here is some a bit browny, dirty color, but with adding lots of water. Yeah, and then I just cover it all together with some. Yeah, so I'm like literally here. I can even show you. Yeah, so here I have some like dirty and just picking those colors. And then I go all around my. Yeah, and I covered. And since it's like with more water, yeah, all my lines are safe. Not that I was working hard building this perspective fence, and then I just cover it with paint. And yeah, so I cover, and then later I can go and do the darker parts of it. Yeah, and the pavement is a bit more darker. So let's say I take also a bit more sienna or sienna maybe with a bit more blackish maybe to lower it down so it's not so and can cover the now I feel it looks a bit more too yellowish, I think. And this is what I like to do. So I use like very watery to do this first layer. And then I see if I need like maybe some area I can do a bit darker. Yeah, so maybe again, like a bit maybe front could be a bit darker. The pavement behind the line can be a bit more pale. Yeah, there's also these rules of perspective in color. Yeah, what we do, the objects that are far away, we show them more blurred, more pale, more small. Yeah, like you can have a picture in front of eyes, like some field with some trees or something. So what we have in front close to us, color-wise, is more bright, can have even, yeah, a bit like some darker and more detailed, of course. And what's going on at the back is more pale and blurred. Yeah. Okay, I see, Becky. Yeah, so let's say if you're not painting with us, and then of course, yeah, you will get cord and you can paint, and then please feel free to send your work. Yeah, if you want some, I'll be happy anyway to see it. And also if you want, of course, I give some comment. And yeah, so like I did the pavement, and it gave the time for my fence to dry, so I can go and do a bit of darkening areas, and all depends. I can take maybe smaller brush to draw those lines. Yes, and again, remember what I was talking just now. So here the line is more thick and dark, and there in the end it's more pale and thin. Yeah, and so adding a bit more water can help it to be more pale, and then of course with a bit more. And again, you don't really need to get it perfect from once. So I did it, I will let it sit now, and later I come back and maybe do a bit darker here. And so, and then we see also that the upper line, yeah, here, okay, maybe on my drawing, this one, it's not so perfectly visible. Yeah, but if you see, let me see if I have the original close to me somewhere. Where we have the, here it is. So this is the original, and you see it's again the story how light is coming from up. Yeah, so this is, so we have the line, the lighter line on top of the, so where he is putting his arms, the guys, there is the light, and there is the light here on this, yeah, because the shape is going this way. Here we have the shadow, yeah, because it's going forward, and yeah, but here this line. So we can also kind of create there a bit lighter, yeah. And in this case, I'm just taking kind of white. Yeah, can be here mixed with some already watery yellowish or something, but just a bit. I mean, it's, yeah, those things are not kind of really easy, and they're also a bit like, but yeah, like I do a bit, so at least I get this feeling. Yeah, I mean, I definitely don't go there with the black or dark, yeah, because then it will be start creating the different feeling of shape. So I think, okay, if there is dark, then it means there should be some the shape should go differently. But with this we show. And what I can do, for example, so it's a bit more clear, maybe just a bit kind of darken up a bit. Yeah? So then this is also the, like when you need in your drawing to do a thin light line, yeah, but and you do it, but it doesn't look like maybe that clear. So the thing is, you just go and do a bit darker from the both sides of this white line, and then it appears. Yeah, and when I use my acrylics like very watery, then I can use it like I can manage it very subtle. Yeah, then yeah. So here I've played a bit with this watery. Yeah, putting a bit more darker on the side of white, and yeah, like here in front at least it appeared, and there on the back, yeah, okay. And of course showing this side shadow will work nicely for the shape. And for example, here I'm also working, I have my black, but kind of having it very watery on my brush. And then I have control, so kind of I can go light, Yeah, and then just later where I need it, I can go to do the double line and also about drawing thin lines. Then the thing is that you need to have your brush more watery. Yeah, if it's like the dry brush is not, it will not paint. Yeah, so so we have this dry brush technique that is very good. It's the one of my favorites. Yeah, but for thin lines. And so and then clean a bit. Created some mess, but okay, now we will put this vertical, this story, and it will become better. Yeah. Yeah, so again, for example, I put maybe a bit too dark. I also like to use paper towels, and I just dip in, and here, yeah, it took some paint out. So, yeah, here is also a very nice shadow coming under the guy. And we of course show it, and then at once it gives the good feeling of the structure. So, and first again, I just cover all these circles of the fence. I just cover it with one, let's say, more or less pale color. Yeah. So either you see what you did there with the pencil. If you already don't, then just remember this story that the last ones should be smaller, thinner, lighter. The space between them should be smaller, and the one to closer, they're bigger. So sometimes it's useful also go from both sides. I start with the biggest, the closest to me. I can jump to the last one, to the smallest, and then I can kind of continue, and I meet, yeah, halfway. Okay, here I got a bit messed up, but okay, nothing to do. So, and then also to have this a bit, so just the upper parts of those, I can make a bit darker, because again, because of the light is from top. Yeah, so just there on top, and do a bit darker to give this curvy shape. And nice. It's good. Somehow the painting looks like so simple. One thinks, just like, no, yeah, 3 objects, fence, lots of space for, but it takes time. It's so, but we're already almost there. Yeah. And again, yeah, the guy, let's say, one says, okay, pretty much clear, just kind of black. Yeah, but still, I remember to leave a bit lighter. So let's say where these 2 wings meet, and I leave a bit lighter here at the border. Yeah, so I can also, again, I can use my, yeah. And first I can make it lighter. So I know, like, let's say from experience, that later I will need to make more and more dark this corner. But first I can start lighter, and then I'll be darkening up, because otherwise, again, the same story, it will be jumping too much out, because the contrast will be too high. Yes. And so this is also the topic of contrast. Yeah, how big it is. Sometimes we need a big contrast, yeah, because this is actually like the most, like where you put the contrast, the lightest area and the darkest you put together, that's where one, like the viewer, the eyes, yeah, that you're getting the attention in there. Yeah, so it's a like Rembrandt he was like the master of contrast. Yeah, he would have all the painting dark, 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 and then somewhere in the middle he had this very light, and then of course you put it in the important part of painting, yeah, that, and so on. So yeah, getting confused, and if I put some contrast in the corner, yeah, then and it is something just a background, yes, then that's of course a mistake of technique. And yeah, so I can also use this a bit, somewhere a bit lighter between the legs, but very subtle. Yeah, so of course not too. And what's also maybe in this painting, like I'll show you the original, was also nice. Like, yeah, so so he has his feet, and then the shadow kind of continues a bit to the fence. Yeah, so it's probably on my drawing I didn't manage to show, but for you to know. Yeah, and then the trousers, we can also see there is a bit subtle difference between this gray and black. Yeah, but again, it can't be like too big. Yeah, so you start first, you can make the bigger contrast, but then going more towards the end of your painting, you need to check it. Yeah, so this word I'm using, like jumping out, if it is, yeah, being too active than it should be, then just without fear you go and lower. Yeah, you make it sorry darker, and here, and yeah, then the hair and the face. So the hair I do a bit more just browny, so also like a bit more difference, not to have it too dark. And then and then the face also some just neutral brownish or something. It's like not really in this moment very important. Nice. And then I also check shadows, how they look. I was here today a bit lazy to get some blue. One can actually do the shadow a bit more bluish. So here, yeah, or I think last time I was playing just with silver, and maybe, okay, here I have silver. Let's see what it will do. I think this was the trick. It wasn't the blue, it was the silver. See how it behaves. Yeah, so it's like not a must, it's maybe just to explain it. Yeah, for example, here now I have a bit too much the contrast on my trousers. Yeah, so I lower, so there is still a bit feeling, there are two, yeah, and then again at the top of the wing also. Yeah, one might feel, but I already, like, you cover all, like, yeah, so there need to be some differences, but it has to be subtle. It can't be very contrasting. Okay, my hair, I need to wait till they are dry. Oh, too dark, too dark. Whew, not easy, as it seemed. So, but the lamp. The lamp is nicely, shouldn't be hard to do. Choose some green, maybe make it a bit more, let's say, pale. Yeah, I have here like ready some emerald green. But if you have, there is also one of those like classical rules of painting, that green color shouldn't be used directly from the tube, like this classical one. Yeah, let's say if you buy the set of 12 colors, of 12 paints, then the green usually comes there like one. Yeah, so you might have like 2 blues. You have usually always 2 yellows. Yeah, we have lemon yellow and medium yellow. And the green comes one, because green, you always need to change it. You mix it either with yellow, you mix it either with the blue. Yeah, you can add a little bit of black as well to make it deeper. But like, this is also a bit one can find or detect that the painter, let's say, maybe it's still beginner, if you use your green straight from the tube. Yeah. So let's say, of course, here, this one I have, yeah, it already comes modified. Yeah, you buy it. Yeah, or like you get some, let's say, I don't know, olive green. Of course, it's already mixed with yellow. Yeah, so you can use it directly from, yeah. But this like medium green, yeah, let's see if I find it. So this one here, so this is like, let's say, the green from my 12 set tube. Yeah, and like, don't use it directly, always modify it a bit. And yeah, then when you do the grays or something, this is also okay. Darren is improving, or already. Ooh, I like it very much how you, now you can tell us if you did it on purpose or not, but you have the light around the guy. So
yeah, that was on purpose.
okay, this is the artist talking. Very nice. Cool. So this is looks very effective. Yeah, you see. So maybe he's not that hopeless. He has some hope. Very nice.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to find something to comment, you know.
Don't try too hard. Don't try too hard. But to be honest, I think looking at it in the flesh, because I'm not quite sure how it's coming out on the screen here, but looking at it, I'm happy. I really don't want to make any more changes to it. So just think, if I do any more to it, I think I'm going to push it just too far and I may ruin it. So I'm happy with it, I think.
Good. Yeah, so this is also experience of Darren talking about know where to stop. Yeah. not overdoing. Okay, the pavement, I think maybe you already was like, just let's get through it. And so this is, for example, I mean, it actually looks, you can feel it, maybe there's a texture there and actually nice, yeah. But just to explain the technique, so let's say if you use watery acrylics, it's normal, you get those lines, yeah. So this is where I was telling, like, don't, like, if you want like really neat covering, don't fight it, just leave it. And when you do the second layer, it will be covered nicely. But here it's actually, for the pavement, it looks nice. It matches the, it's also like the direction that's a bit, yeah, good. And so the line is serious. It's the Darren style.
As always with me. I was saying just a minute ago, when you see hairline in a minute, hers is a friendly line. Mine's not.
Yeah, for the newcomers, I'll explain. We paint often animals, and then Darren and Mel, they paint together, and they get always this emotion. Darren gets serious animal, and Mel gets always friendly ones. But it's nice. See, this is the artist character, yeah, showing through. And so also here we talked about in the start, like in the original, he has these two lines on the pavement. But in your case, Darren, I think you don't really maybe need them. Yeah, the pavement is nice also. And okay, yeah, so cool. There is something in this painting that attracts, now this surrealistical topic. All right, I'll try to finish also my lamp quickly, since Darren is already cleaning up. He's making everyone to rush.
No rush. No, I'm planning to go out to do some wildlife photography when we finish. So hopefully we'll have some more bird shots for future classes.
Good. Yes. Very welcome. Yes. So also I'll explain to newcomers that Darren does amazing photographies of animals, also sport events, but we use a lot his pictures as a reference for painting. Lots of birds, and of course, yeah, from the safari trip, all these lines. That's actually why this painting came kind of in in the story, because I wanted to continue the Africa, yeah, story, but then
I did notice that, yeah.
Yeah, but then I said, okay, it's time to choose also, since like the topic is we're painting famous. We are like doing the reproductions, so but sometimes we do also something from our, and I'm always happy for your suggestions. If there is like a painting you say, oh, I always wanted to try to copy it, then I'm always happy to get this. And then of course, if no one is coming with idea, then I take what I like or something. So but feel free to ask, suggest, and so here again the street lamp, yeah, for example, looks very nice and neat when you do these like lines thin of here in the middle. Yeah, so let's say I do a bit, so I did green, I added here a bit of black, maybe like a bit shadow.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. I just got this head.
So, and again, remember to do the thin line, like here on the street lamp. So just have your brush a bit more wet, and then then it's easy. Then the line will not stop. Then yeah, it will go just like one. But with the dry brush, in some moment, it will not leave paint on the paper. And that means like you need to go back, and then of course line becomes more thick, and yeah. So good. Street lamp. So no one else is sending me. It's only Karen is so quiet also. Yeah, so here, for example, I can come back to my lion and like united. Yeah, this is also the word repeating it a lot. Yeah, so I did, and then I come back and I unite, and don't be afraid. It means, of course, putting more dark to some areas and let's say cover something, but for the bigger idea, it's always makes it good. And yeah, so also here at my side, also this leg maybe jumping a bit too much, a bit too bright. And with acrylics, it's very nice. Once you use it watery, then it becomes a little bit like watercolors, and use this layer technique that I put some layer. I still have my underpaint showing through, but I change it. I make it, let's say, maybe more calm, yeah, or so also if, let's say, also sometimes when you work too much details, then like let's say line can be a bit too separate, like to a lot of different spots. And then again, you just unite it, take some watery acrylics and just go all over your detailed part, and it will make it all a bit more together. And so don't be scared of this. It will not like ruin, it will not say, oh, my details are disappearing. They will look better when they're all together. Well, on my side, I will also start the most favorite part of each work, taking the tape off. Yeah, so also maybe I didn't say it in the start, because with those who paint with me, we know it. Yeah, so of course I put the masking tape around. So especially where you paint all over the edges. And then of course it's nice, you take off the tape and you get the white frame. And then there is also a story like which masking tape, because sometimes they ruin the paper. Yeah, they have, let me check the message. Okay, yeah, Becky is asking about the paper. So yeah, while you all still, I mean, take your time to finish. Yeah, there is no rush just because Darren is ready.
Sorry.
yeah. You make everyone nervous.
Oh, sorry.
It's not me.
No, I'm joking. I'm joking. Yeah.
I'm not nervous of him.
So yes, let's talk a bit about the paper. So the most important when you buy the album, I'll show you now, is you look at the number on the block. So for example, okay, here I have 3 albums. So let's say this one says, okay, for oil acrylics, and it has this number 290 and also 140 in LB. Yeah, so for America, maybe it's easier to understand LB, Europe. So, and for example, the other one, it says 200. Yes, it's just thinner. And this one is more thick. It's a computer paper. I think it's maybe like 80, the number. Yeah. So of course it's too thin. And the main thing is that when it gets in contact with the water, then of course it gets more curvy. Yeah. Try to use computer sheet to paint. You will get all the curvy stuff. And yeah. So the higher number, the more it's the water resistant. Yeah. If you go to like 400, then it's maybe already like a cardboard almost. And so I have like, I jump between 200 and 300. So let's say if I'm experimenting, then I take a cheaper one, because of course then that's a question of price. Yeah, and then I say, okay, this I'm doing some more work that goes somewhere, then I might take the thicker one, of course. But now let's take a look at Mel's. What I said, the character of lion. I'm already also knowing my, so sweet. Okay, before I really like the guy, how you feel those, these lights of his body. Looks nice. And so a little bit about the lion. Like to my feeling, maybe it's also the thing why it makes him look friendly. Yeah, but like I find he has like a lot of light. He's like very but maybe it's also good. I don't like really maybe want you to jump now and make lots of dark, because I think you even almost hardly use the black, and that's actually good. Maybe you lost somewhere the tail, so maybe like if you add the stroke of this tail could look nice, because this is one of like, you know, like each animal has some characteristic thing that can, you know, represent it. So maybe like the stroke to make the tail coming out could be nice. Yeah, but again, if we come back to the story of light and shadow, yes, here it's a bit like the yellow on the leg, the yellow on the back, the yellow on the arm, the yellow on the neck. It kind of looks the same yellow, yeah? And the story is that I go and vary. So I say, okay, maybe the lightest is on the face. So very good, you have here like white, and then maybe I go with yellow, but then all the rest, let's say the fur or something, I make already a bit more brownish, already a bit more the other tone, yeah? And also, let's say this back part that is behind the leg, yeah? So you have the line, yeah, that shows, okay, the shape, but then they are the same on the both sides, yeah? So like you take a bit watery brownish and just cover this part of the back, and already it becomes more pale, and that's behind, yeah? And so this, but somehow I like your line. So now I was just telling those, let's say, from this light and shadow, like from this realistic point of view. But come on, we have the surrealistic painting, so we can have actually whatever we want. And I like your, I truly like your line, Mel. It's friendly. Don't make it black. Don't listen to me. And okay, then it was, yeah, sorry, but it was a question about 2-color paint set. I might not recommend the brand in particular, because actually, like from my box, I have mix of lots of paints. I had some set of 12 colors, yeah, and I think this is the Russian brand, because my country, Latvia, we're close, and we have like this lots of Russian paints that have good quality, and that's why, of course, I buy them. And I also have some others. This is Artel. They are coming from, okay, China, of course, logically, yeah. But let's say why I was mentioning 12 set is that like that would be the minimum, yeah. And then with those ones, you can already have different paintings nicely painted, yeah. But once you are kind of into the game, then okay, you just go to the shop and you spend money, and because then you start getting some extras like emerald, yeah. That of course emerald is not coming in 12 set. You mix it with green and blue, maybe add some white and so on, yeah. And like, let's say I buy separate olive green, yeah, but of course, like with this 12-color set, I can mix it, but then I might use just more paints, and then of course, just like quicker, I use it straight. And let's say there are some extra colors that one can just like buy straight away together with your 12-color set. So for example, here I also have like the other brand, Renaissance. This is actually good. It comes from Poland. And this Renaissance, I find that it's better quality than, let's say, this Artel. Yeah, of course, it's just cheaper. Yeah, but the Renaissance is nice. So for example, which colors I like, and I suggest to buy extras. It's, of course, this Naples yellow. Yeah, it looks a bit like pink. And sometimes it looks, so for example, these two are both, name is Naples yellow, but this looks more pinkish and this looks more this peachy. Yeah, so again, it's each brand will have these differences. Of course, white, one can go straight away by bigger tube of white, because white goes away, you know, like very quickly. Then one of the favorites is also this Paynes Gray. It looks like black. Sometimes you can just use it as black. But why it's good? once you dilute it with water and you say, let's say you mix it with some, it goes more to bluish and grayish. So it will not make your painting too dirty, that black does. Let's say in watercolors, you also have this Paynes Gray color. And in the watercolors, it's especially important because then it's easy to make a mess and dirty, and then this, like, instead of black, one can use this, and then you're a bit more safe. And so this is what's in my box. And then of course, in UK or in United States, you might have all these different brands. So just you look for the price and so, and we have Karen. What I like, Karen is always a bit more abstract, surrealistic, and we always discuss it that I tend to go to realism, although I try to step away from it, and so I learned from Karen drawings. Okay, Paynes Gray. Yes, I will type you now here quickly, Paynes Gray, and then
mine. Can I just say I actually used Paynes Gray. I didn't use black on mine.
So you see, Karen also experienced. So Paynes Gray goes like this, Paynes, and then it's gray. Okay, gray. Okay, I have it written here in many languages, but you understand, So Paynes, it's like with Y, with the. And okay, let's go. So this is across the window. So this is Karen's. Somehow Karen really manages to get some, like, let's say the color of your fence that you guys know. One gave me the other word for the fence. It's like barrier.
It's a balustrade.
Balustrade. Thank you very much.
No worries.
In the end of the lesson, I managed to. Because it's more architectural. Fence is more like transparent. So such a cool color you managed, to find a bit purplish, I feel there, pinkish, and gives nice combination. Really like how you did the background, those gray strokes make a nice accent. With the light of the street lamp, depends, so it's already more like you as an artist, you say, okay, I put there more this yellowish, so maybe it combines good with lion, and I want to put the accent there, but here we see this example of that you have the kind of darker spot on some background object, so of course it brings it in front, and it starts playing already. So maybe like 3. So it's more like already like triangle instead of maybe being this just 2. And then there is something on the background. So there is no good or right. It's just like for you to learn these technical things. If I put something right at the background, it means I bring it in front. Maybe I wished kind of something like it looks very like one straight line.
I did do it really quickly at the end. I was
Yeah,
just
yeah.
And I just whacked it on. So to speak.
I understand. Yeah, but also kind of just to learn, like.
No, I agree.
Like it's a bit more thin, a bit more fat. Yeah, makes it a bit more interesting. But again, if you put the meaning, that like it's simple. So, but now let's go, of course, for interesting part, the lion. For example, I like very much this light on the leg. Yeah, so from this realistical point of view, it's like it works nicely, gives this shape. Yeah, so I have this highlight, and then I have color going a bit down. Yeah, maybe baby could be a bit more soft the transition, yeah, because then again, when we talk about these this story about the shapes and highlights, then like it also comes the story about material. So let's say if I have an apple and then I have the light, I will have some here, the highlight, but the borders will be uncleared because of the material of apple. But if I have some metallic circle, then I will have a clear line of this highlight and a clear line of shadows, yeah? So when we talk about, yeah, if we paint wood, if we paint glass, plastic, yeah, they will have a bit, each will have a bit different story with this light and shadow. Yeah, so it's also good exercise when with the pencil, you try to draw, yeah, let's say I have wood, I have glass, I have metal spoon, and so on, because then you see how you show light and shadow in different materials. So what I wanted to say that in this case, maybe this highlight is a bit towards, yeah, to metallic material than, let's say, like the fur or skin, because of course it's more. But I'm just like telling it because we talked today a lot about this classical theory and so on. But I see one ear is missing and the end of the tail is missing. Where is gone?
I don't think it should have had any ears.
I haven't got. I'll do it in a short while.
Well, maybe the lion got into the fight and
lost an ear.
and he just lost the end of his tail, because I don't know why, guys, you ignored. I feel this end of tail is so sweet element. It's kind of just, it's out and it belongs to lion.
It on the board. Oh no.
But somehow you ignore this black spot. And
Right, we're going to shoot off now, so we'll see you guys next week.
yeah, sure, Darren. Yeah, thanks for joining and thanks for your
Thank you.
So yeah, see you.
Great.
Bye,
See you
Darren.
too.
Thanks. Yeah.
Cheers, everyone.
See you, Darren.
So so the yeah, no rush. We continue. The guy also very. I like your somehow. My guy is a bit more soft, and your Karen, I like he's like strict. He's like you. So you see how even differently just putting black, one can show. Yeah. So maybe also my hair maybe got too watery, too blurred, and your hair is very strict black. So it all gives this feeling to emotion, character, and yes. And the lines. I forgot about the lines. Karen remembered. Yeah, the lines of payment. What I would comment from perspective point of view on your line that is going towards the fit, that if this line, so the way you draw it, it means it's not parallel to the balustrade. Yes. So maybe it's not in real life, maybe it's not parallel. Can be, of course, yeah, the builders, they put the payment, this is the other, yeah. But if you wanted to make it parallel, then of course it has to go a little bit more the other corner, yeah. So so this is also maybe like good example of our perspective story, yeah. We were talking like this first line, this is good, but this one I would put a bit more the other angle. And again, so for example, in case you decide to do the ear, yeah, like this ear is kind of big, but it's the second, this is more far away. So if you do an ear, it should be even bigger than this back one. Yeah? But I think there is something in the story that it has only one ear. I mean, and cool. Jamie, how's your side going? Did you manage to paint? And if you're willing to share.
I'm sure I did paint, but I had a trouble. Let me take a photo.
No worries, no worries. So I will also make a line of payment now. Yeah, so sometimes when we do those lines, what I do, I kind of move my brush in the air first. So I kind of check where I want it. Yeah, and then yeah, so for some important or something like this, it's normal you go in the air first and then you cool. Here we have something coming from Jamie. Cool. Aww, such a sweet lion. You're in a team with with Mel because you get the friendly animals. Aww, I like it very much, the lion. I also like the way it looks different. So again, yeah, our aim. So if your aim is to copy one-to-one, that's one story. But we can, of course, use it just as base and have our own interpretation. So for example, here you, of course, have this bigger part, yeah, of this balustrade where the street lamp is standing, yeah? And you see how already it's changing a bit the feeling, yeah? Then again, so here it just like goes away, we don't really notice it, yeah? So you have it bigger and it starts playing like some, yeah? So maybe it's something important. And again, so maybe I already have then, instead of the connection line is here, but a little bit like with Karen, then I get, or it was also Mel, the triangle, yeah? So this street lamps becomes also one of the, and then we need to start thinking, what's the symbolic meaning of the, I'll read the message. Okay, yeah, the Becky wrote, thank you, and she has to go, so yeah. But let's take a look a bit more on Jamie. So also, for example, yeah, so you've changed, for example, the direction how the line is looking at us. So here he is looking in like 3/4. Yeah, that's kind of, so I see less of this side and I see more of one side, and you turned him straight. It's also nice. Yeah, so just like I make it clear so you know these little differences, and so there is no good or bad. Yeah, it's but so in this case it's correct. The both sides of face are even. Yeah, the left side and the left side, they have the same size. Yeah, once he is looking far away, this size is smaller, the other side is bigger. And you didn't forget about the black tail. This is nice. I also like your idea of putting light inside the yeah, so this is also in this case even more you make an accent. This is something, an element, yeah, you bring it forward. Yeah, and yeah, also I see you did the job of doing these black circles bigger and smaller. And yeah, so then here is this another trick. Yeah, so for example, now they all have the same black, so they're just colored with one.
Yeah.
And remember, so like you do just a little bit up here, a bit these darker. And why again? Because like the light is coming from up and it's just this natural shadow. Yeah, and of course, maybe those last ones I do very pale, not so much. Yeah, and of course, those frontal ones, I just put a bit more there, and yeah, this it's just also because of the shape. So we notice the shape is curvy, so the shadow will go this a bit kind of curvish way. But these little things, you as an artist, let's say this is your bread. You need, because the viewer, he will not notice. Do you have it there? You not? He will just have the feeling. Yeah. So these little things, they give, yeah, let's say this realistic feeling, yeah, of the objects, and so just I like your pavement. I like here these watery spots or something, something blurring. I think also gives nice texture, and yeah. And for
Yeah, I
example,
normally do watercolors, so I kept putting too much water with the paint and thinking, no, this is acrylic. That's why a lot of it kind of got a bit washed out, because I kept adding water when I shouldn't. I haven't done acrylics in such a long time.
Cool. Oh, we have a watercolorist among us. Very nice. Yes, I mean, acrylics is this tricky. They can behave like watercolors. They can behave a bit like oil. Yeah. So, but in your case, I like it. I like from far away. Like for the payment, worked very nicely. Let's say if for the background, again, if my aim is to cover it very nicely, just actually, I kind of remember it works like if you paint your walls in your room, you will never get it perfect from the first hand. You do the first hand, you wait till it dries, you go second, it's done, it's perfect. Yeah, so the same with acrylics, especially if you do too watery, just don't even fight. You will never get it perfect because you will always get those brush strokes. Yeah? So if the aim that I need this part of my sky to be just even and neutral, yeah, so either from the start I take less water and then straight away, yeah, or I just, okay, cover watery, but then wait and do the second layer, and then I get, yeah. But as we see with watery, we can get also nice effects, yeah. So one shouldn't ignore and do it. Cool. Then we can play a bit more with watercolors also other times, yeah. Because we're jumping sometimes with watercolors, and sometimes we also do oil pastels. Yeah, maybe acrylics are more popular, but we just talk and discuss. Yeah, so like, let's say during the week, we speak, we decide what we want to paint, and yeah. So since you already in the group, then I also wait for for suggestions, and yeah. So, but cool, yeah. For the first, and also what I also tried to say, that like, remember, we're doing this work in, let's say, 2 hours. And of course, don't expect the result to be, you know, because it's normal when we work, yeah, especially, let's say, watercolors, of course, you can't really work. Yeah, it's a quick watercolors, yeah, but if you work in oil or acrylics and you have bigger size, of course you can work 4 hours, 8 the next day, you leave it rest, so on. So
can I just add to that, Evie? Jamie, what I do, because Darren's so fast, I always do my sketch beforehand. So that's because it takes me forever. I would still be sketching if I hadn't done it before I came.
Yeah, that's super smart. Yeah.
Yes. So, well, yeah, very happy, Jamie, you joined. Yeah.
Me too. It was great. Thank you.
So it's good to have new faces in a group, and yeah, kind of new feeling, new art. Yeah, some new, lovely lion, very lovely. He's a bit also puzzled, like,
yeah,
what I'm doing here in the city, search man. Cool. Yes.
I'm gonna love you and leave you both.
Sure. Yeah, Karen.
I'll
Thank
see you
for
next
being
week.
today. See you next week. Yes.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Yes. So I will also stop recording, but yeah,